Okay. So, guys, do you have any idea about privilege level? What is privilege level? How it works?
Privilege is like configuring.
Okay.
When we do configuration, we do it in privilege level. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
in global. Yeah.
Okay. So, privilege level is basically idea to control the command line for a user, right? So, like how we can give authority to a user to configure the device on what level. So that is under the role based access list. Okay. So okay. So privilege level is used to provide a access control to a user on network device. So that means if I have network devices, like maybe I'm using firewall, right? I'm using router and switch, okay, or any other device. So every device is accessed by my engineers. Like I have multiple engineers. For an example, L1 engineer, L2 engineer, and L3 engineer, right? So normally, what we do, like if I'm giving you idea, I have three type of engineer, and I'm saying, okay, these are the user, and those want to access firewall, router, switch for maintenance, configuration, and troubleshooting purpose. And every user have a limited criteria on device to access it, to configure it, or to manage it. Okay. So how would you make sure like L1 engineer is only going to configure these commands? Like I'm saying L1 only check the configuration part for troubleshooting. Okay. So that we want from L1 engineer. And we want for L2 engineer, uh, it can check show commands. Okay, show commands and few configuration command, right? Like if we have a layer 2 device, and like on layer 2 device, what they can do, they can configure some port in particular VLAN, like VLAN 10, okay, and in VLAN 20. So limited configuration we are giving, like any end user, if they have to put in some particular VLAN, they can assign. So L3 engineer is not required for that, right? But what I want, L3 engineer is allowed to configure any kind of network configuration. Okay. So we are giving full access to L3 engineer for migration purpose, right? If network is already running, so maybe there can be some migration, some small changes. Maybe you are replacing the device, you are replacing the firewall, or maybe you are upgrading the firewall, right? So these things we can achieve with the help of, guys, privilege level, with the help of privilege level. So now, wait, okay, privilege level is used to control the commands as per level. Okay, so we have privilege level from 0 to 15 are the levels, right? And in those level we have two type of level, which I already explained you in yesterday class. The first of all, we have defined privilege levels which we can't delete, we can't create, because those are already created, right? Level 0, level 1, and level number 15. So these are predefined. Okay. And later on, if we want to create our own privilege levels, So those we can create, and that is under customized category. Okay, in customized we have 2 to 14. So these are the customized privilege levels. Okay, so I can create these labels and I can assign to any engineer. Okay, as per their user. Like if I'm giving you idea, before that I need to explain a few things about that. If we have level 0, so level 0 have only limited show commands, right? We have limited show commands with level 0. If we talk about level 1, level 1 have all show commands to troubleshoot, but cannot configure because configuration command is not under privilege level 1. Okay, can't configure anything. And later on we have level 15. Okay, level 15 have full control on device and access of all devices, you can say. Okay, access of all commands to configure, troubleshoot, or to show any command. Okay, but if you ask about what about from privilege level 2 to 14, so in 2 to 14, by default there is no command. So 2 to 14 always use command of lower levels. Like lower level, if I talk about privilege level 2. Okay, level 2 don't have its own commands until we specify, right? If I am going to specify, then commands will be there. But privilege level 2 is going to use all the commands exist in level 1 and level 0. So this is the rule. Higher level have control of all commands which are defined in previous lower levels. Like lower level is level 1 and 0. So one have all show commands. So level 2 can also have access of all the show commands. Okay. So that is inheritance rule. So inheritance rule says if any higher level you have and you define some command in privilege level 1 or 0 levels, so higher level can access those commands. If you have not defined, still they can access the commands. Okay, still this level can access the commands which are in lower levels. Is that clear to everyone? Because of inheritance rule. Okay, so that is because of inheritance rule. Any doubt, guys? Now the point is here, how I'm going to define according to my engineers. Like as per I explained, L1 engineer, L2 engineer, and L3 engineer. So we have level 0, 1, and 15. So I can bind a username and password with privilege level. So what we have option on router. So whenever we are going to configure, so as per user, okay, we can configure the privilege level with it. So every user have like I am defining here username admin privilege 15 and password Cisco. So that means admin user have privilege 15. That means admin user have access of all commands, right? So this is the command which we define on global mode of device. So you are giving level 15 to admin user. So admin have access of all commands, right? So similar, I can define more user on the same router like user ABC and privilege 1 and password can be ABC, right? So user ABC have only access of privilege level 1 commands in that case. Okay. So similar, I can define here user XYZ, and XYZ have privilege level 0, and the password can be anything. So that how we can define as per user basis. If I have multiple users, so I can make multiple privilege levels, or I can use even customized privilege levels. Because if you want to give to L2 engineer some configuration command, so at that time what we can do, I can configure another user like, okay, Jack. So Jack is user. So I'm giving here privilege level 5. Okay. And password is Cisco. So in privilege level 5, what I can do, I can customize some command. Like I'm giving access for these commands in privilege level 5. Uh, okay. So under privilege level, what I can do, I can configure, okay, you can move in configuration terminal. Okay. You can move to the interface of the router. You can configure the router EIGRP command, right? Okay. And we can define like you can configure NTP server on router. So I have specified some commands in my privilege level 5. So whenever this Jack user is part of privilege 5, so Jack can access these commands. Why? Because we defined or we customize it. So that how we can achieve privilege level configuration on a device. So I guess this concept is clear to everyone. If you have still any doubt, guys, please let me know. Everyone, is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. Sankar, Kenil,
Yes.
Nandita, Siva.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So it's not something big, just try to understand. Privilege level is giving you privilege to configure on a router, like authorization. Okay. So I have multiple engineer. So I have to take care of that thing. If I have some fresher L1 engineer who have just monitoring purpose, or who have just monitoring job, right? To monitor the network in critical hours, or like in their shift time. So I will make sure they are not eligible to configure anything. They are just eligible to check the configuration, troubleshooting, and logs of the device, right? So I have to make sure their username must be configured with the correct privilege. Okay, like ABC is with privilege level 1. So ABC user can have just show commands, but Jack is like with good experience, okay, good operations. So Jack can check configuration part, and Jack can also do some configuration. If like maybe L3 engineer is not available currently, so Jack have some privilege to configure some commands, to configure the interface, configure EIGRP, configure network services like NTP, right? Or we can give access few more commands. Like if this is on access switch, so I'm giving you option to create the VLAN. So uh, Jack can create VLAN, right? Even Jack can put some interfaces under the VLAN, so switch port mode access, such type of commands, right? So that how we can achieve. So if these things clear, so let's move with the configuration part and discuss it in more detail. How we can configure these things, how to configure privilege level. Okay, so let me start virtual machine.
Sir,
Yes, Nandita.
yeah, these privilege levels are common to all devices or it will change?
No, privilege levels are common for all the devices.
It will be 0 to 15, right?
Yeah, it is 0 to 15.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so I forget to save the configuration last time. Wait a minute, what I can do, I can go to setting. Okay, so we have R1 and R2 access. I need to increase the font size. Wait a minute. Okay, I think this is visible. Okay, so let me check. I think IP is not there. Yeah, IP is there. Big. Okay, let me try to ping 12.2. Maybe R2 is not configured. Yes, let me configure quickly. So here we have 12.2 IP address, right? Now what we are going to check, like last time I enabled the telnet SSH. So let me enable line ATY 0 to 4 transport input or login local, right? Now if I'm going to configure here username admin, okay, and password is Cisco, and similar I'm going to configure one more here, username ABC, password Cisco. My mistake, password is Cisco because it will rewrite because we are using the same user. Okay, now if I'm trying to access the telnet 12.2, so first of all it will ask the username is admin, password is Cisco. So whenever we put username and password, so device is coming in privilege mode, right? That is like you not in the privilege mode, my mistake, it's user access mode. So user access mode need enable command to move to privilege mode. So whenever we are trying to uh, push enable command, so this mode asks for the password. If you remember, I explained the same thing because currently device into your privilege level 1. Okay, so this device is currently into just a minute. Okay. So now you can check. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So when I try to log in with the username and password, so device is coming into uh, enable mode, right? Or you can say user access mode. Not the enable mode. My mistake. The first mode is user access mode, and the next mode is enable or privilege mode, right? So whenever we don't define the privilege level with credential, because if you check on R2, just I configured where it is. Just a minute. Yeah, it is here, right? What's the problem? Okay, sure run pipe section username. So we defined username admin password Cisco directly. So by default there is no privilege level with this user. So when this user tried to log in with remote, so the device is coming into user access mode. So whenever I want to go from user access mode to privilege mode, so we use enable command. So at that time device need password. Why? What is the reason? Because in this mode user is currently in privilege level 1. So privilege level 1 have just some show commands. If you check show IP interface brief, right? If you try to check show run configuration is not visible. Why? Because running configuration is giving you all configuration idea, what is configured on the device, all these things. So whenever you try to use enable, so that means directly you are asking for level 15 access. That means you are trying to jump from level 1 to level 15. So that's why device need password, enable password or enable secret password for that. Because if any user which is part of privilege level 1 try to move into level 15, so to secure this thing device is asking for password, right? And we have password here, that is enable password or enable secret password that we can set, right? Is that clear to everyone? That is the first thing. But still you are asking for level 15. Okay. Even you can ask for any other level with putting a number like this, but still we don't have password or we don't have level configuration on the device. So right now I'm moving on R2, and let's configure the enable password. Password is Cisco. Okay. Now if I try to enable, so now I have here password Cisco, and you can check the privilege level is here 15. So that means this enable password is giving permission to move into privilege level which have privilege mode which have level 15 access. Level 15 means you can check here show running configuration easily. That means you have running configuration visibility in this mode. Why? Because this is level 15, full access of the configuration, right? Okay. But now how we can achieve this with multiple modes? Okay, so let me do one thing. So we have two users. Let me give them directly privilege levels. Wait a minute. Username. So we have username admin, username admin, privilege level 15. So I'm giving privilege level 15 to this user with same password. Okay. And another user is here, ABC, with privilege level 1, password is Cisco. Okay. And we have another user, XYZ, privilege level 0, and password is Cisco. So I configured every user with their required privilege level. These are the defined privilege level. I will explain you how we can configure the customized levels. Okay. And under the customized level, how we can define the specific commands as well. Okay. That also we will discuss. So just let's check one by one on R1. Okay. Again, take telnet. So I'm using admin credentials first of all. So whenever you put admin credentials, so this time device is not moving into user access mode. See, we are directly receiving here has means this is level, like this is not level 1, this is maybe level 2, level 3, or level 15. But for admin user we define the level 15, so directly user will move into privilege level 15 instead of level 1. How we can check? Show privilege. So you can check the current privilege level is 15. That means once you define user with privilege level, so it will directly jump into that level instead of privilege level 0, privilege level 1. Okay. So similar, we defined here privilege level 1 for user ABC, and we can check talent ABC user with password Cisco. So you can see user is giving here privilege level 1. Okay, so we can see we have here privilege level 1. So again, privilege level 1 have limited commands. If you if you do the question mark, okay, shift and question mark, it will give you idea what you can configure here or what you can use. Like I can check show version. Okay, I can check the IP address, but if I try to check route, yeah, it will give me the route configuration, but running configuration is not visible here. Okay, but if I try it with level 0, in level 0, what we are receiving? So level 0 have XYZ, password is Cisco. So see, these are the limited command in level 0, and you can check. Wait a minute, even show command is not visible. This must be there. Wait a minute. Show privilege. No, that command is not working. So we can't check even privilege level 0. Okay. But we can check enable. Enable means if you want to move into another privilege level, so you can put password for that, and then you can move. If you don't have password, then it will not move. But if in privilege 0, I will try enable command, and by mistake I will put this enable password. This enable password. What will happen? Show privilege. So even you no need to share enable or enable secret password with any L1 or L2 engineer. Why? Because if they will get information about enable passwords, they can directly move to privilege level 15 using this command enable, and then they can enter the password and they can move directly. I hope this is clear to everyone, like what are the default privilege levels and what are the limited commands with this. Everyone, is there any doubt? Guys,
Good.
Sir, when should we give enable and when we should not give?
sorry, when we give enable command actually, like this user is in your privilege level 1 or 0. So whenever they want to access the higher level, so they can use enable command, right? So enable command is giving you access of privilege mode. Privilege mode means where you have all commands access, show running configuration access, right? So at that time we use here enable secret or enable password. So this password is also giving you access of privilege level 15. Why? Because they are trying to log in with lower privilege level on device, and later on they are putting enable password to move into higher level. So you need to make sure these passwords are not shared with any other user in network. Otherwise, there can be problem.
Okay.
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 But but in such case, we have to define some commands for a particular user. What I can do, I can define here like privilege. Wait a minute. I think font size too big. Just must be label command. Privilege level. Wait a minute. Uh, okay. Okay. So now I want to configure for privilege level 5. Okay. Privilege exact means you are trying to configure command for okay, before that what I can do before doing that, let me create a new username Jack, and I can define privilege level 5 with it, right? And password is Cisco. So Jack have now access of privilege level 5, but still in privilege level 5 we have not defined any command. So R1 this user, if try to log in with username Jack, password Cisco. So see, directly the device is moving into privilege mode or enable mode on the device, but this is not level 15. If you check, this is level 5. Okay, but this is giving you sign off as, doesn't mean it have full access. You have to make sure you are in which level. Okay, if this is level 15, then you can move for configuration terminal. Otherwise this command will be not accepted, right? Why? Because in level 5 still we have not defined any customized command. So that means level 5 is also going to be used lower level commands. So we have here level 5, right? So level 5 have only access of level 1 and level 0 commands. So these level commands we can check in level 5, but we have option to define here some custom commands, right? That we can do. So now if you want to check, still you have access of these commands like show version. Okay, but show running command is not still available here. Why? Because this is in higher level, or you can say level 15 by default, right? So what we can do after that, we can move here, and now we can use privilege. Exact means you are talking about enable mode. Okay, and level number 5. So in exact means in privilege level 5, in enable mode I want to configure. Here you can define the command. So you have to define the command here, right? So the command is configuration terminal. So wait a minute, unknown command, configure terminal, my mistake. Okay, so the command is configure terminal. This is not configuration, so you can configure like this, still it will accept, or you can define like configure t. So this is also acceptable command. Okay, so now if user try to access the command, last time the command was rejected, so this time if I'm using, I'm able to configure this command. Still we are in Jack user. If you want to check show users, we are using Jack, who is part of privilege level 5. So in privilege level 5, just I defined one command, that is configuration terminal. So we can try just configuration terminal. If you try to put question mark, still you have just limited commands here just to and all these things. Okay, nothing else. So if you try to configure interface it 1 by 0, so still there is no command like interface. If you try for IP route 0000 like this, okay, if I'm giving here default route, still the command is not visible, right? So now you want to configure the global configuration on device. So now I want to configure configuration mode of the device. So I need to use here configure. Configure means I'm talking about the global mode or configuration mode of the device. And under that, I need to define level 5. And now I can define the command. Now I can put here interface. So I want to configure interface level configuration. Okay. But interface is in configuration mode, and inside interface maybe I want to use IP address no shutdown command. So for that I need to specify talking about here interface level configuration. So I can use privilege interface, okay, level 5, and I can use here auth shutdown command. Okay, I can use here IP address command. I can use here description command, right? So these commands are now available. Let me check on R1 interface. So you can check interface option is visible now. So last time the interface was not visible here. If you check, yeah, after exit there is nothing like interface, but now we have here interface, and it's 0 by 2. Suppose this is the interface. So yeah, there is one thing, I just defined the interface, I have not defined the interface name. So always make sure there are two things, okay? So whenever we define any command like privilege configure level 5, and after that we have here option to define the command. So they are talking about command, right? So command can be, so command is like your IP, or you can say like I'm talking about router EIGRP. So in this router is command, the router is command, EIGRP is not command. EIGRP is not command. Then what is this EIGRP? So EIGRP, like at the place of EIGRP, there can be OSPF BGP. So if you enable router EIGRP, so after this command, you will get all the options like router, OSPF router, BGP. Why? Because this is the only command, and after that, like EIGRP is argument. Okay, so you can't match the argument, right? So here router is command, okay, that can be matched in privilege level. So in privilege level you can match this, okay, but if you are talking about here EIGRP or OSPF or BGP, like such type of things, so those are arguments, okay. So these are the arguments, and arguments can't be matched in any privilege level, okay. So in my same command, what I did here, I matched the interface only. If you check on R2, what we did, we just matched the interface. We have not defined here what interface we are talking about. It's 0 by 0, 0 by 1, 0 by 2, but still we are eligible to configure this. If you move exit, and I'm using here interface and question mark, so it will show you all the interfaces, physical, logical, right? Whatever interfaces by default exist on the router, like tunnel, dialer, ethernet, group, lips, right, loopback, every type of interface is available here, okay. So we have this one. Guys, just allow me a minute. हेलो, बढ़िया, मैं अभी मीटिंग में था, बता। Okay, now what else we can define inside the interface? So that is clear, I think, to everyone. This is the command and this is the argument, right? So under that we have option of description, default, help, and OSPF version 3, but I don't think this command we can run. Like, yeah, you can see, wait a minute, maybe, yeah, the process ID. But see, the command is not accepting right now because the command is not defined. because OSPF is also argument. This is also argument, right? That's why. So we can do here no shutdown, and I can do IP address like this, and even we are getting the option to configure a IP on it, and subnet mask. So IP address and subnet mask is also argument, but still you can use it, right? If you want to define the description, I can do connected with anything, right? Because we don't know. So still we can give the description also, right? So if you want to check show IP interface brief, so one interface is configured here, right? So I can give more things. So suppose we have just limited command here, right? And now you want to configure some routing protocol. So like you want to configure router EIGRP in AS number. So EIGRP configuration is not visible yet. Why? Because this command is not accepted. Why? Because we have not defined any user. So what I can do to show you, I'm going to create a higher privilege. Okay, like right now we are working under privilege level 5. Okay, so the current privilege level is guys 5. So I am going to create here privilege level 7 with another user, and I will not give any command to that user, or maybe other commands, those are not available in this. So we will see that level can access all the commands of level 5 also. Okay, because of inheritance rule. So I'm on R2, and we are talking about a new user. Okay, so Bob is new user, privilege level 7, password is Cisco. So here I'm going to define privilege level. Exact command configuration terminal is already allowed in privilege level 5, so we no need to define that. But under the configuration, we can define here level 7, and the command is router OSPF. So I want to use OSPF, but it will allow EIGRP also, BGP also, ISIS also, RIP also. Why? Argument, right? And now we can allow to configure NTP server command. Okay, like who is NTP server we can define. And what's something else we can do? Interface IP,
STP.
SNMP, SNMP server, right? So we can define SNMP. So we define something else command. Okay, and what else? IP, SSH, version 2. So we can define this command also, but these are in level 7. So now let me exit from R1. So now let's try to log in, and username Bob, password is Cisco. So the privilege level is here 7. So this time I have here configuration terminal command. Even I have not defined that command, but still it will use. Okay. If you go to the interface loopback 10, no shutdown, IP address 10.1.10, maybe loopback is like this. Okay. So still it have access of all the commands which are in level 5. Okay. And now we can configure router EIGRP. Wait a minute. EIGRP is not available on this version. Seriously? Maybe. So we have OSPF, we have even BGP is number 100, right? But neighbor command is not visible under BGP because we have not defined something like this. Okay. So I think my idea is clear to everyone how you can configure commands. Okay. So these are the commands. Let me show you guys. Show run Python privilege level, right? So that how you can define the commands under it. Okay. So all commands are here. Okay. So this exact meaning you are talking about privilege mode configuration. terminal is configuration mode. Okay, interface inside the interface. So that how you can define. But if you try to move in a lower level like level 5 and try to access the commands in level 7, that is not possible. If you want, I can try for you. Let me exit and okay, this is R2. Now username is Jack, right? Password is Cisco. So we have configuration terminal, but router command is not available here. Why? Because that is not passed. That is in level 7. Okay. So I hope this is clear to everyone.
So can you show me how to move from higher level to lower level?
Higher level to how to higher level to lower level.
Yeah.
Like
For example, uh, Jack is having a privilege of 5, level
okay.
5, but he want to move to privilege 2 or 3. Can we do that or else?
I think that is not possible because user directly move into their level, right? So
Yeah.
you can't do that. But yeah, let me try. What I can do, you can define here enable according to levels. Okay. So I have level 5. So for level 5, my password is CCA. Okay. Converting to a secret using the enable secret in future. Okay. And one is enable secret level, not level 1, level 2. Okay. That is CCNP. Okay. I guess I have user as well. Sure run. So let me check the user in level 2. I don't have user. We have okay level 15 ABC YZ Jack and Bob. Okay, let me try with this. So we have here CCI command for level 5. So I will start with level 7 and then I can try. So maybe this is possible with enable password. So telnet, the username is Bob, password is Cisco, show privilege, it's level 7, right? So you can use here enable and define the level number. So, so you can see you are in level 5. It will not ask password because you are already in higher level, right? And you try to move into lower level. And let me check, the user is still Bob, right? And now if you try to access the commands like we have NTP server. So NTP server command is with Bob in level 7, not in level 5. We are in user Bob, but Bob moved from level 7 to level 5 using this command. Okay. So after enable, you can specify the level number if you want to jump in. Like normally in started, what I did, use enable command and I put here higher level. So at that time, device is asking for secret password, right, or enable password. But if you are already in higher level and to move into lower level, device will not ask the password because of inheritance rule. You have already access of all command of this level level 7. That is the reason. So even you can't use those commands, but you can move into the interface. Okay, because interface commands are available and router OSPF. So that command is also still not available for Bob also. Why? Because Bob is currently into level 5. And if it's want to move into level 1, yeah, user can move into level 1 also. Show user. So Bob is also now in enable mode, right? And there is one thing. Okay, now what I did, let me explain you. Maybe you will get more clarity if I will explain you like this. I need to check that also. I'm not pretty sure about it. So we have here Bob user, right? So Bob user is part of which privilege level, guys?
7.
Level 7, right? So what I did, I used this command enable and use the privilege level 5. So Bob moved into priv
5.
level, yeah, priv level 5, priv level 5. So now I use the same command and now Bob into label 1. So what we did, we use this user from level 7 to level 1 now. Okay, so if you try to move again into level 7 without exiting the session of telnet, so how you can do that? So I need to use here enable and need to define the level number. Are you getting my point? Because what I want right now, Bob is in level 1 and again I want to move into level 7. So what we are achieving from lower level to higher level, and as we know lower level can only move into higher level with enable secret password, with enable secret password. So now if I'm telling, so password is not set for level 7 this time. Like you moved from higher to lower level, there is no problem. It will not ask you about any password. But if you forget to configure enable password for level 7 on your R2, because R2 have enable secret password for level 2, level 1, not for level 7. Shoran 5 section enable password. Sorry, wait a minute. Uh, Shoran. Yeah, see, we have enable secret password for level 2 and level 5. We don't have for level 7. So what we can do at the starting of the configuration, I need to define here enable secret level 7 and password is Cisco. So that how I can define password is Cisco. Wait a minute. Yeah, this is privilege level 7. Because for level 15 also there is password Cisco, but I defined level 7, so it will move into privilege level 7 only. So this is possible, but you need to take care about the things. Any doubt, guys?
Hmm.
I think this is very easy, right? Any doubt, guys, about privilege level?
Hmm.
All good, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Now, can you tell me the problem with privilege level concept? What is the problem with privilege level concept?
The problem is we have to set the privilege. That's the problem.
Not. We need to set the privilege. That can be one, but not in this. Like not in this key. We need to define privilege level 5, 7. No, the configuration point of view, we can say we have problem because for a huge network, it will be very complex to configure the multiple commands on multiple router with multiple time, right? So there are chances of misconfiguration at that time.
If L3 is not available in the shift, then L2 can't do more deeper troubleshooting.
Yeah, L2 can't do deeper troubleshooting, right? But actually, we have not given that type of level to L2 engineer, so that is our fault, not the configuration point of view. Let me explain you like what are the major points. So the challenges with privilege level. The first of all, the configuration is huge. So this is not a scalable solution, right? So this is not a scalable solution. So we can't implement like on 1,000 routers. Why? Suppose I have 1,000 routers and for one time I did all the configuration, no problem. So maybe one day one user will leave the company, right? So what I need to do? Delete the configuration for particular user from all the routers, right? Like username and the commands. Okay, so that we have to do. So the first thing, it's not scalable solution. Second, it will use inheritance rule, right? Inheritance rule says any user who is in higher level can use all commands of lower privilege level, right? Are you getting my point, guys? So this is also one problem. So that means if any user in level 7 that can use all the command of level 5 also, right? So this is second problem. And there was one more challenge with it: scalability, inheritance, and I don't remember that right now what was the issue. So these are the problems, right? Okay. So now Cisco come up with a new solution or new idea to mitigate only one problem, that is inheritance rule. Like it will just not use inheritance rule, otherwise it's similar like privilege level concept. So if privilege level is clear, then we can move with the second one. Anyone? Hello guys, are you there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me explain you the second idea, what after privilege level that we can use on our network devices. But I'm not sure this is going to work with other vendor like instead of Cisco, but this is with Cisco. Parser view. Have you ever heard about this?
No, sir. Course.
Okay. So
No.
in parser view, okay, in this solution, we can create some views. So we have to create views. Views are like privilege levels, you can say, okay, and can specify commands, okay, but other view can't use them, right? So if we have defined some commands in one view, other view can't use them. So this is just mitigating inheritance rule, okay? So that one thing we are achieving with the parser view solution. So parser view have one view, under that we have to create multiple views, okay? So if you want to create views like privilege level, so you have to move into one view, that is root view, okay? So the default view is root, okay? And under that we can create multiple views. Are you getting my point, guys? So what I'm talking about. So root is like privilege level 15. Okay. So just compare it. Root is like privilege level 15.
15.
Okay. So this is similar like 15. So we have full access here. But like other privilege levels, you have to configure views under the root view. So we have to move into the root view where I can create other views like I am talking about. I can create here L1 view, I can create here L2 view. Okay. And now I can specify the required commands under that. Okay. So the configuration part is very simple. If you want to enable view or you want to move into root view, there are some prerequisites that must be fulfilled. Then you can start your view configuration on router. And that first prerequisite is AAA must be enabled on device. Okay, must be enabled. And what is the second prerequisite? Is enable password or enable secret must be set. Okay, enable secret password must be configured. Okay, so these are the two prerequisites that we need to fulfill on a router, and then we can start the configuration, or we can move inside the root view and start the configuration of other views. Is that clear to everyone?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, so let's move to the router. So currently I'm on R2, and if I check privilege, so right now we are in level 15, right? So what I have to do, first of all, I need to enable or like let me exit. Okay, so we have enable, and after enable you can see we have two options here. One is here level number. Okay, by default if I use enable and I try to enter, it will ask password for privilege 15, that we know, right? But we have another option, we can use here view. But for view, as I told you, we need to enable AAA, and we need here one enable secret password for that, right? So enable secret password, I guess it's already configured, but I will reconfigure it. Okay, it's not there. So let me move first. So now we need to come here and we need to enable AAA new model. So this is the command, guys, that we need to configure in global mode of device. And after that, we need enable secret, and we can define the password system. So we configured a 1 minute enable secret you have chosen in the same enable password. Okay, so it can be CCNA. Okay, now exit, exit, enable view. So you can see now enable view device is asking for password, and password is CCA, and show privilege. So you are now part of the view. What is the default view, guys? The default view is root. So under root, we have full access of the device like this. Okay. Parser view. So under that, I can define the name like L1, right? So you can define like this, okay, L1 view, and under L1 you need to define the secret key like Cisco 123. Okay, so I defined the secret key, but in your L1 view, still we have not defined any command. That means you can't access anything, you can't configure anything. Okay, so for that, what I will do, I need to create a normal user, like user is Dev, okay, and password is Cisco. So I'm going to be use this user Dev, okay, for login, and after the login, I will use here parser view L1 to log in the device, right? So I'm moving on this, yeah, R1 and exit it. Telnet it, username is Dev, password is Cisco. Enable view and need to define the name of the view L1, okay? And the password is Cisco123, what you defined under the view. So that secret password is required here, okay? Now show privilege, okay, the command is not acceptable. Why? Because there is no command right now. By default there is nothing, so we have just show command. What we can check, show IP interface, no, it's not visible. We can just check the show parsers, or yeah, show parser view. So we can check here parser view is L1. So L1 have nothing. So what I can do, under L1 I can configure some commands. Okay. So what we can do, we need to define here exact, not exact. Wait a minute. Commands exact. Okay. For exact we need to define, or before, yeah, exact. And I can define here include show IP interface brief, that command, right? I can define here show version command. Define here show IP route. So I defined here three commands. Okay. So let's check now how many commands are visible. Show IP route command is visible. Show version is visible, and yeah, show IP interface must be there. Show IP interface brief. Yeah, that command is available now. Show IP route command is also visible, and show version is visible. Right. So is that simple, guys? Is that clear to everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what else we can do? So I just define here few things. So I can move on R2, and still I'm under cursor view L1. So instead of doing that, what I can do, I can do all the commands. How? Like commands exact include all show commands. So it will allow all show commands, but I can exclude one command. What I can do? Commands exact
Exclude.
exclude and exclude the show IP root command. Okay. Wait a minute. The present command. Yeah, this is available. Let me remove it. Okay, so I can exclude it, and let me try now. So we have all commands here. Show. So you can check all commands are available here with show everything, but show IP route is not available here. So that how we can use this feature. So I can configure one more parser view. So I will define some other commands like configuration commands in that view, because still configuration command is not here. If you check, try to configure, that command is not here, right? So on R2, let me create another parser view. Parser
Parser
view
view.
to
L2.
And yeah, I need to define the secret key first. Cisco 123. I'm just using the same keys so I can remember. Okay, you can use other keys as well. Commands exact. Okay, include all show commands, and now I can define commands exact include
Configure.
configure, configure terminal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I can define commands of configuration mode. Yeah, include IP root. Okay, interface, and even I can define the commands for interface. Include no shutdown, IP address, right? So we can define these commands here. And now if I try to log in again, exit, and I'm using the same user. User was there, right? So enable view Cisco 123, right? Show parser view. So now current view is L2. Okay. So in L2 view we have more commands like configuration terminal, interface, it's 0 by 1. Okay. But I specified the interface number. Do I need to define? Maybe. Oh, it's at 0 by 3. What's wrong? I need to define the exact interface. 0 slash 0. Maybe I need to define. Wait a minute. Include interface, not the interface configuration interface. It's 0 by 0. Okay. Let's try. Yeah, I need to define here. Maybe argument is not working here. Can I try? Yeah, so argument is also need to define here. Okay. So I configured. Let me try one thing. Let me define here router OSPF. Okay, not the BGP, and OSPF AS number. Sorry, process ID. Now let's check. Is this command visible? Router OSPF and the process ID too. So yeah, you can use any process ID, but argument is matched. Can I try with OSPF BGP 100? Yeah. So for some commands, argument is working. Maybe not for some commands. Okay, that need to be checked with practice. So it's all about the practice. You check multiple times, so you will get okay which is command, which is argument. Okay. So we tried multiple commands, so those are working. But if I try another view commands, like if I try show app interface brief, that is working. Show version. Wait a minute. We have not defined these commands, right? Then how it's working? Wait, wait a minute. But we did show run pipe section. Interface exact include. Okay, have this command by mistake, so maybe it get from L1. That's why. So we need to remove these commands. That's why we are able to configure the commands. Let me try. Okay. Now we are not able to configure the commands, right? So that's how you can configure or you can avoid the commands. So we are just removing one problem from privilege level to parser, that is inheritance rule. Otherwise, the thing is same on thousands of devices. Still, it's complicated to configure the configuration. Okay, and it will be very difficult to update the configuration also. If there is one change on one router, like maybe you have to add one command on a router, right? Suppose you have to add some commands related to router or device or something like this. So this command you need to add on every router. So maybe you have 1000 devices. So you need to repeat same command on all devices. That means 1000 times. So again, it will consume your time and all resources. So that's why still we have some problems with these things because still configuration is manual, right? But parser view and privilege level is clear to everyone, I guess. If still you have doubt, guys, please let me know.
Sir, in real time, how to do for 1,000 devices? I mean, is there any automation?
Okay, great question. So let's discuss about that. Maybe currently we can't go with the full topic. The reason is I'm starting tomorrow with ASA. Okay, so first we start with ASA. Maybe then we will go with that solution. So currently I can't continue, but I will explain you what is the exact option right now we can use, right? So let me tell you the challenges with these things right now. What are the first of all, not scalable solution, right? In any case, if you talk about parser view or you talk about the privilege, right? And then privilege level have inheritance, which is not in your parser view, right? Inheritance rule, right? Okay, not in parser view. That is the other point. And now Cisco is coming up with a solution. Cisco have solution, or you can say every vendor have their own solution, and that is central solution. What is that? Central solution. Central solution means you need a central AAA server. Okay, we need a AAA server. So everything will be configured on a AAA server. Like what? So now we no need to configure username and password. So I can configure username and password on AAA. Okay. So Cisco gave us a AAA solution. So AAA solution have server, that is AAA server, or you can say there are two versions. One is not used anymore. The last version was 5.8, ACS 5.8, right? And now the latest device is used Cisco ICE, which is currently working on version 3.x right now. Okay. So we will start with Cisco ICE, Identity Service Engine. So Identity Service Engine, or you can say ACS, Access Control Server. So Access Control Server had some challenges. That's why they come up with Cisco ICE. Okay, so both are AAA servers or AAA solutions. So in these central solution, we can configure first of all username and password, right? So I no need to define username and password on every router separately, like admin, John, Jack, Bomb, right? So I can configure every username and password on my central solution directly, right? Secondly, I can define here my configuration and commands. You can say I can define my authorization level for each user. What I can do? I can define my authorization level, or you can say commands for user. Okay. So here I can define commands, which commands any user can run with it, right? And the next thing, what I'm receiving or what I'm getting in AAA solution, that is accounting. So there are three things actually. Accounting is like logs or reports about what? what user did on device during the login session, right? So that means if any user logged on my router, so what they did on router, like what command they have configured, what output they have checked, so everything will be visible to me on my this server in the case of logs, or you can say reports, right? So now we have here AAA solution for that, a central solution for everything. Okay. So what AAA solution do actually? AAA stand for, guys, authentic, authorization, and accounting, right? Now, do you know, guys, about these three things? What is authentication, authorization, and accounting? Authentication means whenever any user is try to log in on your device, how would you verify this is the exact same user, or this is the authorized user, right? So you need to check with username and password. So authentication means AAA server is going to match username and password, right? And once user is cleared with username and password criteria, if username and password is matched inside the database, then device will ask about the authorization level, like what user can do, what this user can do on device. So that means like what command user can run on the device, what configuration user can do. So this is again like this level, so where we defined the commands, right, on router. So similar in this AAA server, I will define the commands for this particular user. So user A can run like show running configuration, user B can run configuration terminal. So we will define the set of commands with every user what they can do, right? So at the last, I will make sure I will verify everything what user is did. So here I will get what user did. Okay, that is accounting. So that is accounting. Is that clear to everyone, the meaning of AAA?
Yes.
Okay, now let me explain you how device is going to work in that case. So here I have router, and here is my AAA server, that is Cisco ICE in my case. Okay, AAA server. So this time on R1, I will configure like how is your AAA server, like this is 12.1, 12.2. So I will say on R1, hey R1, you have here one AAA server 12.2. Okay. If any user tried to hit you, like we have here one user is try to take telnet session, okay, for this router, like router have 10.10 IP, this one have 10.1 IP. So route user is taking telnet of the router. So whenever user is trying to access the router, so router will send this request to AAA server using some protocol. So AAA solution is using two type of protocols here. If you ever heard about the name, one is TechX Plus. The second is Radius. Okay. So these are the two protocols. I will explain which protocol is working for which purpose. Okay. Now whenever user try to log in the router, so router don't have anything right now, like router don't know who is the what is the username and password. Router even don't know what is the privilege level for which user. Okay, so there is no configuration on this router like username, password, privilege level. Everything is exist on this server. So like username is here admin and password is Cisco. Okay, and we are giving here privilege level 15 to this user. That means it have full access. Okay, to admin user. So in that case, router is sending TACX packets. So here we are using suppose TACX protocol. Okay, TACX packets. So router is using TACX protocol to make communication with your AAA server. So whenever this AAA server is receiving the TACX packet from this router, so this router is already configured with AAA server. Like in AAA database, I need to define my network device. What I'm going to do, I will define I have some network device, like network device is R1, R1 IP address is 12.12.12.1 IP address, right? So this is my router one. So similar, I will define other network devices like it is 13.1.1. Okay, so I need to add my all network devices inside the AAA server. So once AAA server check, okay, the network is part of my devices or database. So I need to check policies. So we will configure the policy. So under my policy, I will define, okay, you have to use this database for username and password, and you need to give this privilege level. Okay, so now this server check, okay, if user is trying to log in with any telnet or SSH session to this particular network device like R1. So I will ask first of all enter the username, enter the username. So this user is going to add here username admin on the CLI. Like whenever you will do telnet, so telnet is asking first of all for password. Password is, sorry, username. Username is admin. So now router receive one packet from this user. Okay, user try to access with username admin. So it will again send the packet to TechX server. So TechX server is going to verify, okay, username is admin. So that is passed. So now it will send another TechX packet and ask about password. So now user have to enter here with Cisco password, right? So user TechX packet is again sent to the server. Server check the password, right? So once authentication is done, then similar server send here another TechX packet and ask about the privilege level. So what privilege level you are trying to access? So maybe it will uh, get privilege level 15. So user will get here fully access for the first time directly without entering other command, right? So that means you are just making a central solution. Central solution is, just understand it for now. The packet types, what are the packet types, and or what is your TACX or radius protocols. We will discuss in detail about those protocols. Okay, no need to worry about that. Okay, so packet type protocols, everything we will discuss. For AAA solution, you need to understand AAA is a central solution for now or for us. So this central solution have complete database of like username and password. You even you can define here privilege level, and under the privilege level you can define the set of commands. So that how you are creating a central solution for everyone. So if you have X number of network device now, like I have R1, R2, I have Cisco Firewall 1, right? Cisco Firewall 2. So on every device, for first time, I need to define the AAA configuration, like who is your AAA server, how to reach the AAA server. So some basic configuration is required on every device in that case. And once AAA configuration is done on every device, so in future you can add any username here, any privilege level, any command. So that is not required to be configured on those devices. So you have to just configure on AAA server. Are you getting my point? guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that we will discuss in detail about TechX and Radius. So just I can give a little overview about AAA solution. So that is the idea that how we can use a central solution. So there are two things about network now from the point of view of a AAA. So the first thing is device administration, right? Device administration. And the second point is network access. Do you know the difference between these two things? These two points. Device administration means how you can administrate your network component. So that means device administration means how to access the network
Component.
devices to manage them. Are you getting my point? So we want to manage the network devices through telnet or SSH, right? So at that time, we are talking about device administration. So similar, I was explaining in what I'm explaining in few minutes ago. So that is the same thing. Whenever user try to access SSH or telnet of device, so router or switch or any AAA client like your router firewall, right? So they send request to AAA server to ask about username and password, to ask about the privilege level, right? So that is under device administration in your AAA solution, in your AAA solution. Okay. So that is under device administration. So how you can administrate your network devices, okay, through AAA. And AAA also giving you one more feature, like there are multiple features that we can discuss, okay, like posting, profiling, okay. But those are part of these two things only: network access and device administration. So the second one is how to access the network. What is the meaning of that? If any user wants to connect with your network, right, then how AAA solution authenticate it, okay, authenticate, authorized, or you can say how AAA solution verify it, right, and give permission or deny. So that means, okay, just take an example. If you have some users in network, so they must connect with any network media to access the internet, to access your server or database in network, right? So that means, like, we have normally two type of users. One, we have wired users, and second, we have wireless users, right? So that means if any user is trying to connect with my network, so firstly this user can connect with my wired network on a layer 2 switch. Second, user can connect with frequency to my wireless access point like this, right? So in both case, how we can make sure they are the authorized person who are eligible to enter in my network. Maybe you have here some server, right? Or maybe you have some other services in network that they can access easily. Are you getting my point? So how you can authenticate this is the valid user that is trying to enter in your network, or this is the valid user who is trying to enter through wireless, because there can be any security breach. They can put some malware data on your server, or they can fetch some important data from the servers, right? So we need to make sure those ports must be authenticated. Those ports must be authenticated. So whenever any user try to enter in the network, so we can make sure these are part of the network and we can give them permission. So there are multiple things according to that we can give them permission in this AAA solution on the basis of user username password on the basis of MAC address, or we can create some guest profiles. Those will just access the internet, they will not access any internal services. Like maybe you have internal mail server, maybe you have internal FTP server, right? So those services must be not accessible to anyone. So are you getting my point? So one is device administration. That means if anyone is trying to take remote of your network devices, so that must be authenticated, authorized, and accountable, right? And also if anyone try to connect with your network to access the network resources like servers, files, and anything, or internet, so how you can make sure that user is authorized user or not? If user is authorized, then this user can be part of which network, or this user can communicate with any other device or not. So these things we can achieve with this AAA solution. I hope these things are clear. Like you will get an idea the differentiation between device administration and network access. So that is a big topic that we will cover in ICE. So whenever we are starting with ICE, so we will start with device administration first. Okay. So the same thing which we did locally on a router with privilege level and parser view, that we will start with ICE first. Then we will talk about network access. Okay. Later about network access, like how a user can connect with a switch, how switch can authorize these things. Okay. So is it clear to everyone?
For now, yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So this is big topic, don't worry. So we have separate chapter as well for it that we will cover. But I will create a lab for that, okay? And then we will do. So first of all, I will start with ASA. So easily you can do configuration of ASA on your laptop also. So what you need, like uh, you can install VMware workstation. I will share the softwares with team, okay? They will provide you, so you can install on your laptop. And normal single ASA or 2 to 3 routers you can easily run on your laptop if you have 10 to 16 GB RAM, like i5 or i7 generation. Okay, so I have i5, so still I'm eligible to use. So you can use EVNG software, that is one simulation tool, or you can use Peanut Lab, right? So Peanut Lab is also similar like EVNG, or you can say replica of EVNG. You can use any one of them. And I will share some URL where you will get the all images like router, switch, firewall, okay? And the installation is very easy. So I will show you even one video how to install the images, okay? So you can start your practice. So we are starting with basics of ASA from next class, okay? So we will start how to access the ASA, how to configure telnet on ASA, right? How to configure SSH, or how to enable routing on ASA, then the basic behavior of ASA. Then we will start moving into detail, like how to configure ACL, what are the security levels on ASA, okay? How we can create security zones on ASA, and object group and net types on ASA, okay? Then VPN. So that we will start. If you have any confusion, just let me know, guys. Siva, Sankar, Nandita, Kenel.
Yes.
So is that clear to everyone?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so today I will talk to the team. Okay, we will discuss how we can share the informations and data with you. So you can start preparation from your end also to get another classes. Okay, otherwise it will be difficult for you also. Okay, guys, thank you. Have a good day. See you tomorrow.
See you. See you.